Hi, welcome to the After Show, which is actually going to be live for Game of Thrones episode 17.
Hello.
Yep, the finale.
Yep.
Definitely.
We're going to be quick about this one because we're over time, but hi everyone. Sorry that was horrifically rushed. I hate GMing when I have a very set limit of episodes and also a very set in-date universe that I can't change. It's weird and annoying.
Yeah.
Headcanon
I
Benno
definitely
dice.
was, I could have spent some, I still had another Destiny point stuff, and I was like, no, this is the perfect time for my character to die. I was like, let it happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you did great, EE. Thank you for
Yes,
the story.
you really killed that. That was awesome.
Throwing all the things at us and
I thought on balance Ithleen might kill Lyanna.
Oh yeah,
I
like we planned for that possibility. We're
Yeah,
like,
I
that could
wasn't
happen.
sure what you were going to do. That was a good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
that was a tough one.
Joining
Uh,
this man is everything she ever wanted.
It was everything. But I should have known. So naive. I should have known that it was going to come to a point where I was going to have to kill. I honestly thought maybe Caliph. I knew I was going to have to kill somebody before I leave.
Chat, man.
That would
let
be
me
too
say,
easy.
But yes, that would be too easy. Like,
Everybody was convinced John was the one that loved Hoster. I'm like, did you not hear what he said to her after Hoster died? He's like, maybe it's for the best. Like, why would he say that if he was like in love with Hoster?
No.
Like, there's no way he was gonna ask.
John
No,
loved
I
Hoster.
was.
Okay, actually, you want to know the big reveal here? John loved Hoster. John was replaced by a faceless man.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
And here's
not
the
the
thing.
faceless
The
man.
faceless man didn't know about the affair.
that's what I meant.
And
I'm saying John.
Right.
I
Remember
think
this?
Yeah.
John. I'm talking the faceless man.
But here's the part I think you would trip the faceless man up, and I thought would be the biggest giveaway. The faceless man never knew about that, so if any of you investigated that, you'd be like, why is the faceless man being weird? But one of the first things
Like
that was
John
said
being
to
weird,
him,
you mean?
yeah, one of the first things you guys said to him was, so how about, Hoster, you two have been getting it on, do you not feel sorry about that? Basically, and I was like, yeah, okay, he knows now.
One of the first conversations that was had with him after he killed John.
Yeah.
Who hired the faceless man? Mage. She wanted Jenny dead. She knew she was alive, but didn't know where she was. So the faceless man infiltrated the household to try and find out where Jenny was. You never told Ewan, and you never told John. He never managed to overhear that information, so he never found Jenny. But Caliph then took Jenny out, and then he was told to go take down the last person who had the, touch of R'hllor, which was Lyanna. So he was going to go kill Lyanna. He was like, hey, Ithleen, do you want to kill Lyanna? I'll take you with me.
Shall I just lay out the whole plot from like where it begins 20 years ago?
oh yeah, should have saw it when Declan said he had a vision of Lyanna dying. I should have put that together. That could be the faceless man. But
Wasn't
Yeah.
Lyanna dying? Was Lyanna crouched over with stab wounds? Which did happen.
Okay.
Every vision's come true.
Yeah.
That's worked out nicely. That he's always made a vision and then it's always happened.
I
yeah.
made them fuzzy enough that they would all come true.
Yeah. It's like there was deliberate like vagueness so that they could happen.
Yeah. I remember when John first came into the scene and I was so excited.
Yeah.
This was the plot arc I wanted to become a faceless man. So my original plan many episodes ago was, and this is something I discussed with Lavina, was I'm gonna go sail off to Dorne, quote unquote,
Right.
but actually just go away with John and become a faceless man.
Yeah,
so
the,
it's like
trip, the trip to Dorne for the marriage was going to be the cover
Yeah.
for your escape.
I
to get
was
back on
all
that
about getting married in Dorne. I was like, yeah, let's do it. This is my duty, blah, blah, blah. But I was just going to F off. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure everything was good with the family before I went off to be with John and the Faceless Men. I wanted to okay, everything's good at Rook's Roost. I'm going to go get married now and then leave. But it didn't work out that way, of course. It never works out the way you
I
want
wanted
it
to impress upon you that this is an assassin. He just kills people, doesn't care about right,
Yes.
wrong, or reason, kills
Yes.
good people too. That's the life you'll be getting into, and you chose to do the honorable thing. You chose basically character death, which good points for you. You stuck by your RP.
But
Yeah,
I
think
love
about-
what Declan did to bring her back. That was cool.
Give
Give him that ability for the finale so that
I
like
specifically told no one about that ability other than, Declan. Obviously, Bentham knew, because I wanted to make sure you thought death was real.
Yeah,
It was my opening concept when I brought the character to him. I was like, I want to be able to do this, even at the cost of something drastic like lessening my own life.
Can't give you that now.
Yeah.
Maybe later, and then
FYI, it didn't remove death entirely. All it does is you have to burn Destiny Point. It has to be someone Rylor is okay with you bringing back, and it has to be relatively recent, and you need the body and you need physical contact. So it's worse than being able to spend a Destiny Point for yourself to come back, narratively.
You can't just go visit Jenny's bones and be like, you're back!
Yeah, makes sense.
Did Lavina survive?
Well-
Yes.
She got out of dodge, so she's fine. And Dorn stays mostly out of the War of the Five Kings.
I was about to say, she's in Westeros. She's here.
To be fair, we were
Clay and I
like,
talked a lot about
army,
what
it's
that
like-
would look like to
we
bring
were
her
like
in.
three dice rolls away from losing Lyanna, losing Bernard, and losing Theron.
Yeah.
I still think that Bernard might just die from his wounds. He was maxed out on wounds and injuries and had barely any
Not
stamina.
with Here's the thing, right?
Huh?
Not Maester Raphael. Maester Raphael, it saved Tommen's life, saved several
You
people.
gotta devote 4 hours
Jorah?
per day to an injured person to treat
Yeah.
them. Maester. There's only so many people that Maester Raphael.
One Maester can do it at a time, yeah.
Maester can heal Bentham's Bernard, Josh's Theron, Lyanna, and
And that's
probably
it. Unless
maybe
you
another
no
if you
sleep.
push it, if you get low on sleep.
I was about to say, we're also probably low. The other thing is supplies. We may have a lot of food supplies, but medical supplies are a whole separate thing. Like, the Maester needs a lot of different stuff, and he's been doing a lot of healing, so he's probably running superbly low.
Yeah. Like, you
I have
have
a lot of
enough for
stuff.
this battle. If casualties happen afterwards, those would be a problem.
Right. Yeah, I have enough to heal everybody up to this point. After that, the Maester's like, I'm doing what I can. But hopefully, like, if the Rhymers answer the call,
No,
they'll
the
also
Rhymers are
bring-
locked down. Everyone in the entire
Everybody's on
Riverlands is-
lockdown.
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole region at once. The king is dead. Everything's gone to hell.
I love this
Bombs rule the
comment.
north. The phrase rule the Riverlands.
I love this comment where it's like, is there any Roll4It show where Josh's love interest doesn't die? And I just realized, I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we set that whole thing up from the beginning when we were deciding who the guest would be. We're like, let's have a goodie and a baddie and then a neutral. And then we're like, what if we bait and switch the goodie and baddie and be like, yeah. The Lannister line guy turns to the north, and the Norther line
Bolton
turns
comes.
to the
Yeah.
Lannisters.
It was supposed to be that
Well played.
where
So it was
everyone
like,
did-
Theron's the one we got to keep an eye on. He's going to do
Yeah.
evil Lannister things. And then, nope.
it was supposed to be that where you guys didn't trust Theron and he was supposed to be the one that was doing the bad things,
Yeah.
and then it swapped to me.
And
But
for
we're
the
all,
first
but both of us
episode,
were just
as well.
doing what
Yeah.
our houses are aligned for,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
that's just what our characters would do because we're both basically knights in that sense. Like we fight for
Yeah.
our people.
and very symbolically, the first episode was the Wolf and the Lion.
Yep.
You both were
That was
fighting
the
each other in the first episode, and also Andrea's nickname is Wolf Slayer.
Yeah, that was foreshadowed.
Finally in
Yeah,
episode one, Game of
chat caught that
Thrones.
early on. Chat was like, that's a foreshadowing.
But then they forgot about it for a long time.
Yep.
Chat does do that.
So yeah, so many things. Man, the Maester he just moved so damn slow.
It was also always the plan that the Davonmars would try and take over Rooklands.
Yeah,
And
and then that deal just worked out
Couldn't even
really
expect
perfectly.
it. You put
Yep.
their soldiers in your lands and gave them some of your lands, and then even garrisoned them in the village when the Ironborn.
And
Like,
Lavina had feels about that
this makes
early
it
on.
really easier.
No, I
What-
think
what-
everyone had feelings about that, except that
Oh
it
my
played.
God. Except for
How long-
like, it's like, this is a great idea.
How long
Everybody's
would
like,
we have had to wait before we would have had any kind of like intervention, like from the Malisters or something like that?
Everyone gets locked down after that.
That's-
The
that's
the
Malisters
problem.
end up under house
Like-
arrest. I know the Malisters one because they end up under house arrest. I can't remember anyone else.
Like
One of the
every
masters was
keep
at
that
the Red
doesn't
Wedding, I
immediately
think.
submit to the phrase gets besieged.
How long?
How long does it take to
Up
lock
to
them
2
down? And
years.
how long does
No,
this last?
how long is this lockdown?
About a year or so before Rob comes south. About a year and a half.
Rob doesn't come south.
No,
not
Rob doesn't
Rob.
come south.
John.
John.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did we have like a count on how many forces were actually out there?
Yeah, there were 200 troops because it was 2 units, which were the 2 units
Okay.
the Davmars lent you, which you then positioned in your lands and then had come closer to the village because of the raiders.
Huh.
Otherwise, it was
Alright.
going to be more like 50, and instead of 8 turning up in the first wave, it would have been 2. And then it would increase, but it was 8, and then more, and then you drop the portcullis on them.
Yeah.
If Theron hadn't
Well,
gone in there that early on and almost put his life at risk,
Yeah, it may have been a whole
there'd
separate
have been
battle.
another 2 turns probably of troops, and like it would have been
Yeah, we would have been overrun.
Yeah, it's like tower defense, guys. It's fine. We got this.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. The Maester had plans. If we had actually fallen, the Maester had I don't know if you saw it. I was going to poison the wine.
Because the first thing that people do when they take over a castle is raid the cellar.
Yeah.
It's very smart. I didn't think of that.
The Maester would have taken a giant cask of wine. I had one major potion left. Actually, one major potion and one really small one, which he probably just snorted up his nose to be able to survive this extravaganza. Let's be real. But I had one left, which of course was the great, because like the Maester didn't buy anything but robes, literally. So all he bought was poisons. And the other one he was going to use was the Strangler, and he was going to dump it into a giant cask of wine.
Oh, nice! Don't die like Joffrey. Perfect.
It's like poetic justice.
I thought you'd put the Strangler on the blade and the thing for.
Well, I'm pretty sure you've got to ingest the Strangler.
You
the Strangler, it would have been different. The plan, the Strangler, I was sitting on for like. The Maester was sitting on the Strangler for. I mean, Declan was a consideration for a while based on the last interaction we had. Had it not ended, the Maester might have had to. Declan continued to be prey. Caliph was on the list for a while for the Strangler when he announced. Here's the thing: I just didn't reveal a lot of what the Maester was up to because he was quiet about it. He healed people. He did his job. But when push comes to shove, you don't think he got this old because he's not been through a siege before, because he's not been through war before, because he's not had to deal with all of this. The Maester's like, I know what's up. We need to get word out, and we need to just be prepared for all of us to die.
We
literally talked the other day, me and Bentham, about things to do, and we were like, oh, the Maester could send ravens and stuff. That would be cool. Yeah, but let's leave it to the Maester's choice. And you went to the ravens, and we were like, nice.
Yep. Oh, like the first thing he needs to do is let people know before he died. Then I also had plans to fake my death. So the Maester was like, had we become overrun, he would have taken his own body and dropped it with a bunch of dead bodies and faked his death until he could maybe escape. The Maester's not going down with House Rook.
That's a good point. The Maester straight up saved Lyanna, because if you hadn't told them about the safe location, Lyanna would have died as well.
Yeah. Yep. The Maester was like, you guys need to hide, and you need to get behind somewhere really safe and quiet that they're not going to look first, because they're going to come banging on your room doors first.
Tom and Jason died.
They did.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They're dead.
done, though.
They went to the Red Wedding, and I mean, as you know, like everybody had killed.
I think there was a Malister there who doesn't die, who gets captured. I think.
He's a Malister, though. There's a bet.
Jumps in the river.
Oh yeah, there is a Westerling. No, a Westerling runs away and falls in a river, and nobody knows if he lived or died.
Here's the question. I'm curious.
The awkward thing being, the Westerlings were in on the plot, but they weren't all told, so some of them got killed.
Yeah.
Would we have gotten any action from Lady Stoneheart? Because it's not showed in the series, but
later on, her forces probably harried the defenders, the besiegers or something, knowing the location. It's the right location for that to happen. So your besiegers probably didn't press too heavily, which is probably part of the reason that you don't ever get really forced to capitulate.
I have to know, Caliph. What would Caliph do now? Like ride the siege out?
At least initially. The thing is that the downfall is acting too quickly. Mm-hmm. So he would probably take a few months to take stock, understand where our situation is, how outnumbered we are, what are the chances things are going to come to a head, and then make a decision on that. That's not a question I can answer, unfortunately.
Right.
I don't know. It would be contextual on events that would lead up to whatever.
And you wouldn't honestly get many ravens at all because they'd be shooting down any they could.
Right. Anything that was coming back in. That's why Maester was like, get them out.
Yep.
You only hear what the people besieging you would tell you, which is probably there's no help coming.
There's no help coming. You're gonna die every day.
Honestly, where you are, because you're almost in the neck, not many extra forces would show up. Like the Freys might send an extra few, but they just wouldn't bother too much.
How funny would it be is if we're holding it for a year and the Ironborn are just not aware of it, and then they lay another siege on us and they have to fight through the rest of the Davonmar force.
No, that was actually something I was thinking during the siege. I'm like, do we know where the mountain is? Could I lure the mountain here?
Oh yeah, do the forest.
If I lured the mountain here, while it would be risky to fight in the mountain, also they could just wear each other the fuck out.
I think he heads back to King's Landing now and he spends the rest of his time there.
Yeah.
Once the war is over, Tywin's like, let me pardon you. Totally wasn't my plan, maybe. Turns out you were working for the war effort. Not that I ordered you to turn brigand and raid it, but I ordered you to turn brigand and raid everyone.
Question, does the legitimization go through? Is Caliph now legitimately the...
There's no one to legitimize him when Rob dies.
That's what I thought.
Theron can do it and be like, in the name of our king who dead, you're a lord now.
Yeah,
No one
that's
can
interesting.
stop him. As according to their laws, it works.
Here's the question: Does the Maester
Theron's
set
not a lord
aside?
either, though.
Does the Maester set aside
He's a
his
knight.
science to accept that I did something entirely miraculous?
I'm not sure. That was a big moment, and like obviously, like we definitely would have role played. What the Maester saw you do was heal somebody, right? The Maester understands healing. He stands by it. That's what he stands for. It is the chain that he wears.
Pretty sure the Maester saw me push fire into a dead girl's chest.
Yes, but it brought her back to life.
A lot of maesters believe in magic. They
Uh-huh.
just say there is no magic right now. It's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
it'll come
went
back.
over
Yeah.
the Maester's ring, so the Maester doesn't have a ring for the higher arts, or whatever they are called.
Right? Yeah. Whatever the
Maester
So
was
that's-
also Raphael was also tending to Liana too, so
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, I mean, yes, but if Declan takes one of the girls' bodies over, he's watching. He would not have ignored that. So
Yeah.
he would have witnessed Declan doing it. I would think that it definitely changes something. It doesn't change the fact the Maester believes you were manipulated. He doesn't
Totally.
like Declan. And I think that, the audience is like, you need to apologize to Declan. Declan was manipulated, and the Maester knew that. He wasn't upset at Declan. He was
I
upset at Declan for
Declan doesn't need an
believing
apology.
lies, right? So, but that being said, the Maester would have a very different kind of respect for your connection to the fire afterwards. I think the Maester would want to sit down and talk with Declan, because the Maester also told Declan that his duty to say he believes in science. But the Maester was a person before that, and he was very
This
spiritual.
would have been the second situation where you tended to a wound on my side, and then miraculously it was gone.
Right, it was gone that fast. So the Maester definitely has questions, but I think Raphael, I'll say this, Raphael believes heavily in the magics and understands that there is a place for the gods and for faith. The Maester in him says, we have to find the truth behind this, find the truth, right? So it would be definitely interesting, and there would be some shift in perspective that he hoped for Declan.
Would that have had much impact? Admittedly, I believe that there's still going to be some because she just came back from the dead. But would Ithleen have felt? Would that like spark the flame?
Yes, I absolutely think so. This changed her. She's brought back from the dead. So she's a believer now. Like, I mean, really, this has changed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
the
does.
the reason that
You remember
Ithleen-
dying, and there was nothing there.
the reason that Ithleen isn't touched by the flame is because her soul's a little bit darker. That's the only reason,
fair.
really.
Mhm.
It's not
Oh, yeah,
it's not genetic. Not everyone has it or anything like that.
That's fair.
Bastard.
she's
But
not
I know
bastard,
that Declan saving, his visions have been true, and he brought her back from the dead. So there is definitely on Ithleen's side, deep down, she believes that there is something.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting year and a half with Calith in charge, apparently, and Liana and Ithleen more convinced that Declan's right.
Yeah, honestly, if it came to a point, if we're talking like epilogue and we're trying to figure out, Ithleen would probably side with Declan more than Calith, which sucks because in the beginning, I thought maybe there'd be a changing point for Calith and Ithleen, that they would have a stronger relationship. But, ooh, man, this...
Would Ithleen have left?
I liked the moment that the two of you had, though.
I
That was
do
good.
too. I loved
Just a year
that.
and a half, yeah, I got approached. I think Cal's response would be, after everything we've been through, really, that's still what you're clinging to. Like at what point do you look at the grander picture and saying, we're fucked if we don't come together? Like, it's been 3 or 4 years now since the death of Hoster and Jenny, and if you're a siege and a war, you're still like,
Yeah,
fuck,
the past is the past kind of a thing.
at that point, it's like, what more can I do?
Yes, I would say yes, but I would also say Caliph. Right now, he might be in charge, but I don't want Caliph to be in charge
Then you
forever.
have to never leave and stay here.
And so
Or-
to
or
answer
rip freedom away from Liana.
Maggie's question, I don't think at this point, no, Ithleen would not leave. I wanted to leave, but I think that right now, for the next years or so,
I don't know if
Shoot.
there's a better ruler of the house, though. To be honest, I feel like you being there will force him out of that position, and he
Yeah.
does run.
Well, there's also Liana, because she's now not
very, very well.
leaving by default,
Right.
because you took back the fate point, and
Yeah.
she's by
Yeah, it would be
default staying.
Liana.
Yeah.
It's
But
Yeah.
I would still, the moment that it was safe, I would still leave. Like, I would serve as my duty to the house, especially in that moment where it came to
Oh, yeah.
protecting. But when it was free and clear, I'd be like, okay, This is your chance.
That's the thing, though.
Gone.
When you come to getting relieved by Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, the whole, the Lord of Light, like, speaks to her. She rides dragons. She's touched by flame.
That's true.
Would you just march south with them?
Then we'd be Team Daenerys and
I don't know. I think it would really depend on what's going on with Lyanna. I feel like I wouldn't have been told about the flame in Lyanna if it wasn't important, and it's been up to me to interpret that thus far.
Oh, so the overarching idea behind the meta plot was... So, I gave you a story where it, by default, branches away from the normal story of Game of Thrones. So, Jenny saw things, and she knew about the Army of the Dead, and was speaking things about the Army of the Dead going to arrive, they're going to come, they're going to kill people, blah, blah, blah.
That's what Luvina heard.
Yeah, exactly.
When she whispered in Luvina's ear the first time she found her.
So by default, the story was going to be, if no one interfered, she says stuff that allows people to be more prepared ahead of time, and she saves lives and possibly helps avert things. So by default, the story was actually going to slide away from Game of Thrones. What Mage wanted was her to die and that not to come about so that the Night King can have a better chance. What happens is she died, so that doesn't happen, and we actually have the pretty normal Game of Thrones storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It was essentially like it's like a time war, basically, but like not quite like Terminator, more like they see the future, know what it's going to be, and try and switch it to what they want it to be. And so it's a battle between fire and ice, and Mage was on one side and Jenny was on the other, and they had this battle, and Mage won a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Step
One actually didn't
was drive her mad with arcane magic by having her have a false birth that created a child for Mage instead, and that all went weird.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then Calith was meant to cause more trouble for the house without even knowing he was doing it, but while thinking he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, you
massive
gotta
props to
think
Mass
logically, right? Like that's the difficult part of like pulling the meta away. Calith's world, there is no such thing as magic.
This is the thing. Everything from all the information he knows, the actions he took make sense. He didn't know that there was this greater conflict.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And he was never ever presented with evidence. Like he's never seen anything weird happen, just heard about.
Yeah.
And that's why it works perfectly. And Mage kind of set that up, kind of knowing is that I'm going to create someone who thinks they're doing the right thing, but like causes problems.
Yeah, massive props to Massus for that, by the way, because Massus didn't know he was the character doing that, and like.
Oh yeah,
played
no.
perfectly.
I had no idea Mage was a thing. I had no idea who my mom was. All the Hoster plot, the Jenny plot, that was purely out of my brain, because I was thinking medieval politics and what would keep the family around longer, and just played into the hand. Works.
Worked perfectly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, EE, I have to know, where do you think Luvina is in all this?
So we rolled for her. She managed to make it past the Ironborn. She will have turned up like a few days later and found the entire place besieged.
Right.
What
So
she does then is her choice.
So the town is.
The village is now
Under-
effective. No, the village itself is kind of occupied. The
It's occupied.
castle is.
It's Devonmore now.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
castle is surrounded.
Yeah. Yeah, she would be concerned for Lyanna. She probably would have heard about Tommen and Jason, right, in the Red Wedding. Is that
Yeah.
a conversation?
It'll take a while to find out about that, but you would have. You'd also probably found out that the main family is still alive in there and besieged.
Yeah, she'd hang out nearby. I mean, her original plan before Calith showed up was to just wait it out and then come later on and take.
I like to think that we're single-handedly saved from the army just from Luvina. She's just lured them in with feminine wiles. And
She's out there and
murked
she's
them.
like,
One by
One
one
by
over the
one.
course of a year.
fishing.
200 soldiers.
Yep. She's gone full siren, drown half of them.
I will say though, she would have been around if she could manage to like hide out and play it down, like actually hide incognito. She would have made sure she was there. Just in case that's what happened.
I didn't think there was a chance to actually stop the culmination being this way, but very different it could have been. But there was. If Calith had got legitimized like an episode earlier,
Right.
they'd have straight up not bothered. They took out the house because Tom was still in charge and honorable, and he wouldn't have bowed.
Right.
He wouldn't have bent the knee. So if Calith was in charge an episode earlier, they would have found out, and they'd have been like, there's no reason to. We'll just force Calith to take the knee. Like, it might have been Andrea marches in and says, this is how it's going to be, bend the knee.
Interesting.
There's also if there might have been ways to find out about what the Devonmores were plotting, because the plotting began ages back. The thing was
Yeah.
that you never met them, which meant that you could never make a.
You got very, very into internal house killing your friends.
Yeah.
And
This was
so
we
on.
expected the outer houses to be more involved. So, like in the first episode, we introduced the Frey-aligned house. I can't even remember their names.
Yeah, but I talked to one of the Freys. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
And-
you guys would have
yeah.
met my sister and her husband at some point, but you guys never ended up doing that.
Well, yeah,
the
it worked
twist
perfectly
is-
because the Davamars had this ulterior motive and wanted like lands and to move in and get more power in Rooklands for their invasion, and so they sent someone who had no idea that those were the plans to do a totally innocent negotiation
'Cause
where
she's
no one
honorable.
could possibly work out what the truth was.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you
and
have
she-
honorable too as a quality?
She legit had no idea.
Oh,
That's why they didn't just go themselves. The like, oh, our honorable cousin, go negotiate on our behalf, please. We're very
Yeah,
Wow.
so she was just like, oh, we're just exchanging things, and then she met Ithleen, and she was like, wow, this house really needs help. They really do need our help.
yeah.
So it was,
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, honestly, Andrea just always seemed so polite and kind, and never would have thought anything bad
No,
about her.
she just happens to be
So-
aligned to the Boltons.
yeah.
Yeah,
She attacked
that's-
because she had
it's
to.
not that
She
she's
was
like-
ordered to by her family.
Dang.
I kind of wanted
Oh.
to drive home the point with that like, it's war. It's not personal. Not everyone you're fighting is a bad guy.
Yep.
They're just on the wrong side.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, which
why
I kinda
Theron
was-
was good on the other side, and that's why Andrea was good, and then ends up on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, how
that's why I
stable
love
was-
the love story between Theron and her, because it's like this it's like that Romeo Juliet scenario where it's that forbidden love that it's never going to happen. And then also like her situation is just really interesting because she lives in this situation where she would love to yield, but she knows that would
That's
never be
dishonorable,
acceptable
yeah.
for her. Yeah, it would be super dishonorable for her, so she just couldn't.
Yeah,
Wow.
what they tried to do was just present everyone with like really tough choices to make, and like you've got to choose between love and duty and family and like
Yeah.
what you've
Yeah.
always wanted and who
This
to
is why I'm
protect
a
in the
maester.
fight.
Yeah, Declan chose not to protect Lyanna to prioritize the house. Callith chose to protect the house by taking power which he didn't want. Maester Raphael played everything, saved a lot of people.
Yeah.
Saved a lot of people.
We had all sorts of different scenarios, including things like Ithleen tricking Declan into letting her in, and then she kills Lyanna, and then Declan has to fight the Faceless Man, that kind of thing.
Yeah, could have gone a number of different ways.
That's actually
Could've
one of
gone
my
so many
questions.
ways.
I
That
was
could've
actually curious, in alternate timeline, what would have happened had Ithleen taken the
Yeah, I'm
call and
curious.
killed Lyanna?
I'm curious.
The Faceless Man
Would've
would
gone-
have congratulated you, would have basically dropped off the edge of the world. You'd have gone over one of the walls, stealthed out. He would have killed a few people on the way before they'd fully close the siege off.
Oh,
And
Yep.
you would have
another
killed the
world.
Faceless Man.
Right now,
No, I want to know.
dying in a dark corner somewhere as his intestines implode upon themselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Second alternate timeline question was for Callith. Saying that Mage succeeded and that she finally realized she had the opportunity to.
Did
exploit
she,
the
though?
situation.
Very few people died, and the house still stands.
Technically, she kind of got a kind of half success. She didn't
She
manage
got like
to
a
kill.
messy success.
She got
What
she
if
got
they,
her main
like-
objective. She got a main objective,
Lyanna
which
was
is
her
the
final target.
Yeah,
Hypothetically,
she felt
let's
like
say
the
that she
final target.
succeeds, the house falls, and it's just her and Callith. What does she say to Callith to lure her over, or lure him over to the Great Other?
I don't think she cares about Callith. Callith was a tool.
He doesn't need to. His work
Yeah.
is done.
Honestly, I didn't want to really have the cliched storyline of your bastard. Who's your mum? Oh, she comes back and puts you in a. No, she was a tool to her. She doesn't
I
care
loved
about
the
him.
reveal of his mother. I thought it was cool.
I think there could have been some definite, like, more manipulations there.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize it at the time. I'm sorry I killed your mum, Callith.
Callith doesn't give a shit. He never met her, not one time.
Yeah. Well, the one time you met her,
You
she
did.
didn't tell you that she was your mother.
Oh yeah, I met her as some peasant
Yeah,
woman.
and then you,
You
gave
gave
her
her
gold,
gold.
thinking she
And I gave her gold because fucking Callith is still a mostly good person.
If you want
worst
to
mother
hear,
ever. Abandoned you at birth,
Yeah, she's a bitch.
secret from you, takes your money.
if you want to hear about her, she was an ice cold bitch.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, was Ithleen a bastard?
No.
No.
Yeah, that was something I was going to ask too.
Tommen
Yep.
had
I
two
think
bastards.
the
one of
darkness
which
was just like the influence of the faceless men and
Yeah.
wanting to
Just-
go on this.
Got it.
Yeah, like Tommen had two bastards. One of which was obviously Caliph, because he was used, and the second one was after his wife basically went stark raving insane and was like, yeah, you can love her as the person she was, but like as she is, she's not really capable of reciprocating any sort of feeling right now.
Right.
So like he emotionally moved on, but emotionally also wanted to care for his wife.
Okay, most important question. Does Claudia live?
Ooh.
Is the snake still slithering about the house?
Yeah,
what about Yennefer?
Sure, why not?
Oh, yeah, Yennefer.
Yeah.
yeah. Yennefer lives because she never gets involved. You stopped any forces actually getting through the courtyard, so
Okay.
none of the household staff
All
died.
the staff are fine.
Everybody in the house is good.
In long term, maybe people die of illness and starvation.
Where did Mage get the money to hire Faceless Man? She's an agent of the Undying, so she works for, like, basically a cult that are like, yay, bring on the Great Other, we want the death of everyone, etc. So...
They've got resources and also weird magics that can probably help them with that.
yeah, it's like the Time War thing. But right, we're gonna have to call this now. We've been going massively over, so thank you very much, everyone. You made an absolutely fantastic episode. It did go over, but I'm surprised it managed it with this many people, so thank you very much to everyone again. This is gonna go up on the YouTube channel, and we're gonna run. Thank you very much, everyone.
Because we didn't get to go over like everything, I think I'll just put together a post with like a timeline of all the other behind the scenes stuff on the Patreon, so you can just see everything that we had going.
I'll send you the letter too, because a lot of people said they couldn't
Nice.
hear what I was saying. So
I'm sorry, it was my fault, guys.
Hi guys.
Okay.
So we'll be back with teeth next week. Teeth!
BDM next week.
Silence of Shadows.
because we don't normally have teeth.